when you start a war of choice, you ought to have a plan. And we've seen none of the 4 goals the administration had come to pass. Administration change, not so good. The guys are worse than before. Enriched uranium, it would take 15,000 troops on the ground to go in. Nobody wants that. Getting rid of their missiles or drones, clearly they're shooting at us a lot. They've got a lot of those. And the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and gas is over $4 a barrel, or $4 a gallon. So there was no plan at all on how we'd accomplish this other than bombing them into submission. That has not worked. I think the president needs to, whichever way he wants, declare victory and get us out of this war. And then to the point about transparency from this Defense Department, I'm not surprised at all. They have not briefed on any level in a traditional sense. Gang of 8, I think it's gotten, which I'm a member, is a chair or vice chair of the Intel Committee. I think we've had one brief. I know Hegseth and Dan Kane. I have a lot of respect for General Kane, the chairman. But I think they are partially hiding the ball because we have been, unfortunately, so unsuccessful in this, in any of the 4 goals they laid out.
Senator, I know we were all struck by Jay Clayton's confirmation hearing last week, and particularly by the degree to which you were personally kind of expressed bitter disappointment at his performance on a number of levels, including his refusal to say that Joe Biden won the 2020 election. This is somebody who you have known for a long time, as you said, and that earlier you had expressed some openness to, said that he was the guy, had the right temperament to be DNI, and you just announced a couple days ago that you lost your vote. What do you foresee? You can talk about that a little bit, how you came to that conclusion, but also what do you foresee now for the confirmation prospects of Jay Clayton going forward?
Well, first of all, let's acknowledge that, the worst is the fact that Bill Pulte is the acting DNI, and I think he was part of putting together that absolutely absurd speech the president put on last Thursday night, where most legitimate networks didn't even cover it as news. So we want to get rid of Pulte. But I think Jay will be confirmed by probably exclusively Republican votes. I know Jay. I like Jay. I was disappointed. My hope is that the Jay Clayton I know, if he ends up being DNI, will take that job and bring some grit back to it, because I think we've still got a president that wants to interfere in our elections, because this president knows if we have free and fair elections this year, he and his allies are going to get slapped down in a record way, because his policies are so terribly unpopular.
Senator Warner, you're rolling out a new legislative agenda today focused on artificial intelligence, and this is long overdue, getting a framework together. What can you tell us about what exactly your bill would legislate and set in motion for the years to come as more and more workers are edged out of the workforce and then are not paying taxes?
Yep. Well, first of all, as a former tech guy, I thought AI was going to travel the normal route. There'd be a lot of hype. It would take longer to come about. Think back to the internet. I was a wireless guy. The opposite is true. AI is coming at us at such an unprecedented level. It's jaw-dropping. So I broke, and this is a series of bills, into 4 categories. First, on data centers. You got to have some minimum federal standards that would include bring your own power, don't misuse water, setbacks from neighborhoods, clean backup power. And then the hook would be you shouldn't get accelerated depreciation on these data centers until you hit those goals. Second is a whole category around, I think, consumer safety, consumer trust. I think most of us would agree that we screwed up when we didn't put guardrails in on social media in terms of our kids. Well, if you think that was a mistake, wait until you unleash chatbots on your children. We've already seen the courts start to put in place a series of rulings that if a chatbot drives a young person or anybody to suicide, there needs to be legal repercussions. We look at that. We look at the question of there should be none of this non-consensual nudes that are taking place, a series of things that will hurt our kids. There's also in this category of consumer trust this whole new area of agentic AI. Huge opportunity there, but there needs to be standards of care, who bears the burden, what level of responsibility. Third bucket is national security. When you guys have reported on this question around Mythos, which is one of the tools that Anthropic came up with. Luckily, in that case, the CEO was enough of a good citizen that they realized they had something so powerful They shared that voluntarily with the government. Since Mythos in April, we've had 4 or 5 new models come out. It is finding, I misspoke on one show, it has not broken into all our systems, but it has found vulnerabilities in all our systems. And the Finance Committee in particular is freaking out about this. So we need some level of mandatory pre-testing, and I lay out a regime. And then finally, the big enchilada is what it's going to do to our workforce. I will even buy that there will be AI jobs created in the long run. But for the next 2 to 5 years, I feel like where the job disruption is going to come is recent college graduates. I hope I'm wrong, but I bet we will hit 30% recent college grad unemployment in 2 years. I'll pay up. I hope I'm wrong. But if we do that, we need a whole new series of training portals. And frankly, we don't even fully know what to train for, because the old idea, well, let's teach everybody to be a basic coder, was not right. The best idea I've heard so far, if we could get half the kids who are majoring in business in college to actually change their majors into healthcare, into a field that's not going to be immediately disrupted. But we're going to need big, brass, ballsy thinking. And my set of ideas here, a lot of it's bipartisan. They're not perfect by any means, but we got to have this debate, because if Congress takes this normal timeline, this will be game over. This will all be decided in the next year or two.